Hey folks, this is Dan the World Traveler. Today I want to talk to you, and today, by the way, is we're in September of 2025 as of this video. Today I want to talk to you about Poland. I was the country of Poland in Europe. Some say it's Eastern Europe, some say it's Central Europe. I'll just call it Poland for our purposes today. I'll let you, debate that amongst yourself. But I was in Poland in December of 2024. Had a very enjoyable experience. I landed in the Warsaw Airport, and the Warsaw Airport, everything there feels like the O'Hare Airport. It's actually nicer in my opinion, or the Atlanta Airport, or the LAX. Definitely, in my opinion, nicer than LAX. But modern airport, everything you need there in terms of services. I didn't have any problems there, and the I was really impressed by getting from the Warsaw Airport to downtown Warsaw, where my hostel was. I mean, it lickety split, and it was very affordable, like a couple bucks. I mean, pennies on the dollar for what you're going to pay in, getting from the O'Hare Airport to downtown Chicago. I'll tell you that right now. And the English is not a problem in Poland. Everybody speaks English. Some people, as a matter of fact, speak better English than me when I was in Poland, except some of the smaller towns. I was in several cities in Poland. I was in Warsaw, Krakow, Auschwitz, which is not really a city, I guess. It's about hour outside of Krakow. I was also in It's pronounced Reza. If you read it and you're not from Poland, you'll think it's Rezau, but it's actually pronounced Juzo. It's about an hour away from the Ukrainian border. So I was all over Poland there. And if you go to Poland, they use the zloty currency. They don't use the euro like a lot of Europe. A lot of Europe uses the euro, but there are countries in Europe that don't use the euro, and Poland is one of them. It's called the zloty they use. Like I said, I went to Auschwitz when I was in Krakow. Um, you know, I'm not going to say I enjoyed Auschwitz, but I'm glad I went. It's definitely something that you should do if you're in Poland and you have the means to experience a part of a history, a very dark part of human history. And I'd like to really give a shout out to the folks there at the staff at Auschwitz. They did a really professional job of showing us around and showing us the gravity and the seriousness of what happened there. Um, I was in Poland in December of 2024. I had a great time. And I will tell you this: in Poland, they take Christmas pretty seriously. They don't mess around. Lots of Christmas trees everywhere. They have people very festive, and they drink what they call. It's called. I don't know what they call this, but it's hot red wine. You'll see this in a lot of countries in that part of Europe during December, during the Christmas time, the Christmas season. And it was it was a month before. I was there in early December, about at least 3 weeks before Christmas happened. So they don't mess around in that part of Europe around Christmas. They take it quite seriously. Lots of Christmas trees, very festive. Lots of hot chocolate, and they really whip it up as far as celebrations. I got around Poland on a Flixbus. I actually went to Germany, Austria, Czech Republic on a Flixbus. I had no problem on a Flixbus. They're a good outfit. They're very professional. Hostels. I stayed in hostels. When I stay overseas anywhere, I stay in hostels. They're dimes and nickels on the dollar of what you'll pay for a hotel. And why pay for a hotel when you can be perfectly safe in a hostel in Europe and pay 15 or 20 bucks. This is and when I was in Warsaw and Krakow, I paid about $15 the equivalent for a hostel. Obviously, I didn't pay $15. I paid their currency, but the equivalent. Gets dark early, and I don't know if I said this yet or not, but if you go to Europe especially Northern Europe, or around Northern Europe in the around December or that time of year, I'm not exaggerating when I say it gets dark around 3:30, and it's pitch dark about 4 o'clock. Definitely by 4:30, it's pitch dark. So just kind of be ready for that. If you go to Europe, especially anywhere near Northern Europe, just be ready for that because they're that much closer to the Arctic. Like I said, Poland was very enjoyable, and Auschwitz. If I haven't talked about this yet, if you go to Auschwitz. So what I did was I got back I took a Flixbus to Krakow, and the Auschwitz is about. I signed up on a website for a tour of Auschwitz, and I got a bus to Auschwitz from Krakow, and It was about an hour ride approximately, and it's not one place. It's two places. There's two. Auschwitz is two camps, believe it or not. So that's a lot of people don't know before they go there. So just be ready for that. And it's cold, in December in Poland. So bundle up. It's you're not going to Hawaii. You're going to Poland. So bundle up. Take precautions. And what else do I need to talk about here? Krakow itself was lights out, a wonderful place to be. Lots of history there, lots of very elegant, very impressive churches, cathedrals, and a main square that's just absolutely beautiful. And if you walk, there's a river you can walk across. I believe memory serves me correct, where you walk away from the main area. You can find Oskar Schindler's factory, where he did his good work and saved a lot of people. I actually went there. I didn't have the opportunity to go inside his factory. However, I did go to the Oskar Schindler factory and sort of see it from the outside. Then I went to a coffee shop nearby, and they kind of told me about it. And the Polish people, if you engage them in a conversation about history, they'll be happy to talk to you. They're nice people. The Polish people, they're nice people. They'll have a conversation with you and tell you about things going on over there. But anyway, I could talk a lot more, but Poland was a very enjoyable experience. It was actually part of a four-country trip that I was on. I went to Poland, Germany, Austria, Czech Republic, and and it was fun. I went on a Flixbus started in Warsaw, took a Flixbus to Berlin, about approximately a 7-hour trip. Then from Berlin to Prague, Czech Republic, and then from Prague, Czech Republic to Vienna, Austria, and then back to Poland from Austria. And I will say this, riding in a Flixbus as opposed to an airplane, you see a lot more. You really get to see the places you're traveling through, and I highly recommend that. And traveling across Poland on a Flixbus, seriously, in many ways, I felt like I was going on a trip across the Midwest. You see signs for McDonald's so many kilometers, and you see distribution centers, and so you'll see how people in the other parts of the world are different and how they're not so different, in my opinion. But if you ever do go to Poland or anywhere in Europe, I recommend a bus instead of an airplane if you have the time. Sometimes you don't have the time, but if you have the time, it's a much better way to see the country and really appreciate the people and the culture. But anyway, and when you're on a Flixbus, you're not really surrounded by tourists. You're surrounded by the people. Or it's not always, you don't always get an authentic experience when you're surrounded by other tourists. So just a little tidbit there. But anyway, that's my bit about Poland. Great place to visit. I highly recommend it. This is Dan, the World Traveler. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.